Hello guys, today we'll be looking at how to use the Jupyter. Remember, we use Jupyter as our application when we want to program with Python. So I'm going to be showing us how to open your Jupyter and how to create a file on Jupyter. All right. So the first thing we are going to do is we are going to go to the type here to search, and we type Jupyter. You can see the Jupyter Notebook. First of all, you have to install Jupyter using the Anaconda. Okay, by the time you install Anaconda, automatically Jupyter comes along with it. All right, so type Jupyter and we open. Now, when we open now, you are going to see we have a blank file. Now, this blank file is just like the backend, what is responsible for running our codes. All right, responsible for running our codes. Now, the next thing we are going to do now is we are going to give it time. We are going to give it time and we're going to wait. You can see it's giving us extension was successfully connected, linked, sorry, successfully linked, meaning that we are going to link it now. And in any moment from now, our web browser will open. Okay, yours might be Microsoft Edge, yours will be Chrome. All right, so we are just going to wait. Automatically, it's going to open our web browser. Now, if it doesn't open, you can see we said this page should redirect you to the Jupyter application. You say if it doesn't, click here to go. So I'll click on this. So depending on your system, it might be slow, it might be fast. All right, so it's coming up. All right, so now what we have here is exactly what you have on your file explorer. All right, now let's say you want to create a file, which we are, let's example, a Python file. So we click on the documents. Okay, now if I want to create a file, let's say inside the new folder, what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this new. All right, you click on the new, you are going to see Python terminal cursor, new file and new folder. We are going to click on the Python. All right, so when we click on the Python, automatically a new page called untitled is going to show. A new page called untitled is going to show. Now you can see now untitled. So means by default the name of our folder is our name of our file is untitled. So we click on it and we rename it. Let's say we want to call it day one. When we do this, we rename. Now we have created a Python file. All right. Now in Jupyter, what we have is cells. Okay, cells whereby we can run our code and get the output. Remember, coding is like input, you input and you get an output. And remember that the machine does not it does not assume for you. Whatever you put in is what it give you out. Okay, garbage in, garbage out. Now, an example is this cell. Now you can see we have a cell by default. If I want to create this cell again, I'll come here to the plus and I click on the plus. You see, I'm going to have on that cell. Now, if I run a particular code by default, it's going to give me on that cell. But now, if I want to remove this cell that we have here, I'll click on the X button, that's to remove it. Then here now, if I want to run a cell, let's say we create a variable and we call the variable num is equals to 100. Now, if I print num, now it's going to give me a value, and if you notice, we have a new cell. That means whenever we run a particular cell, we are going to have a new cell with the output. All right. Now, another thing again is that here is that you can also come here, click on this or run. It's going to run. You can see run selected cell. But if you want to run this information, use the short key shift enter. Okay, by the time you use the shift enter on the particular selected cell, it is going to give you a new cell and the output. All right, now let's say for example you have an issue with your cell. Example, let's say I created a variable called 10 and I write the conditional statement using the while loop. So I say, well, while x is greater than 100, print x. Then I perform just a little operation in Python. All right. So if I do this now and I run my information, click on this. If I run this, you can see it's not giving me any output because the condition. But let's say for example, using your conditional statement and your code is still running. Now, how to know if it's running is that you're going to have an asterisk here. So what you do is that you either come here to stop your kernel. Okay, the kernel is what is responsible for interpreting our code one after the other, line by line. Now, if you, let's say example now, I add in our previous code, I add 0. Now you can see it's giving me yellow. It means that I have added a new information, but I have not run that code, that cell. Okay. By the time you run the cell, we are going to have a number, and you're going to see the information blue. All right. So if it's giving you asterisk, it means that it's still running. It's not done. It's not done. And also, if you want to write in terms of like a header, that means you want to change from code to markdown, I can say use the double hash and I write Python. Okay, now I'm going to change this. Remember, it's selected. I'll change this to markdown. Now, by the time I do this, I have my information. So that's all on the basics on how to use Jupyter. Okay, how to use Jupyter.